Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are, you're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you've never made a decision. Those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is this is stuff you don't want to give up to go on. Listen to me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it.
Boom. Welcome back to CFB Nation. I'm your host, Nino Brown. You can tell what time of the season it is because we're on a screen on multiple days. We're going back to back to back. It's me, Nino Brown. I got my host, the governor of college football, LeverttKT. What's going on, my man?
It's good, bro. Like, I love this time of the year, especially because we put the work in, during that thing that they like to call the off season, but we don't really know what that is. I'm excited. Pound for pound, that's one of the best intros. I don't think anything can get that Utah one, though. That's like crazy, dog. Like,
Eddie was a happy man with that one. Shout out, Dwight Peoples for the intro to CFBPrime. My man killed it with that one. Now you're in my backyard, right?
Yes.
Overreaction is your backyard.
Yes, sir.
I'm in there as the co-host. You're the co-host this with me. So anybody who comes on with me, you know the deal. Unless it's Debbie Dollins, P2P. I'm running you to the rapid fire. So are we ready to go rapid fire?
Hey, born ready. I like this side of it. My favorite process of this entire thing is the script writing. But what I'm starting to enjoy even more is being a guy like you throwing me lobs. And when I'm writing the scripts, I'm like, oh, Nino gonna go crazy with this, gonna go crazy with that. So I like being on this side of the spectrum.
I've learned from the master, and I'm slowly beginning to be able to figure out, the bounce pass. So we're gonna get into it. Rapid fire, 10 words or less. You ready to go?
Let's get it.
All right. We know you're a fan of Alec Golis. You've talked about him multiple times. I think we just talked about him on a past episode. And you're a fan of what he's built at South Florida. Can the Bulls win 8 games this season? Schedule looks kind of favorable.
Yes. The answer is unequivocally yes. 18 returning starters, quarterback Byron Brown, 3,200 yards last season, 26 touchdowns. Also had 800 on the ground and another 11 touchdowns to go with it. Yes, 6-8 toughest schedule in the conference. I'm going over my 10 words. My apologies. Sean Atkins, first USF wide receiver to go over 1,000 yards. He did that last season. Yes, I got 8 games that I have them winning. I have 2 50-50s and I have 2 losses.
Whew, I love it. When I said 8, I was like, oh, he might be like at the border. I love the 50-50. If they get double digits in the win column, what he would be doing in a short amount of time to turn that program around is absolutely phenomenal. So I love it. Next, this is going to be, I know we're going over 10 words here, but that's okay. Can DJU lead Florida State Seminoles into a repeat 0-loss season?
Offensive coordinator Alex Atkins will get the best version that we've seen of DJU. Problem is, they're only returning 56% of their production. Some of the games they got to play, Clemson won't be an easy out. That game in Dublin, going to another country, you're sightseeing. Will it be business as usual against a solid Georgia Tech team? And I think when we talk about them a little bit later, and they also got to play Notre Dame. I just don't see it. What about you, though? You see it? I don't see it. I don't see undefeated.
I don't see undefeated, but those games that we just talked about, the Clemson game, the Georgia 50-50 games, his leadership, that's all I keep hearing about coming out of campus. His leadership and what he's able to he's already taken, the offense under his wing and grow. If he can continue to excel in his leadership, because his leadership levels have grown over the past 2 seasons. What he did last year, Oregon State, was phenomenal. So I think that the window is not shut, but I think there is a possibility. And if Mike Norvell can get back-to-back, undefeated seasons, there's something we got to start talking about what's going on over there, especially after they got the snub last year. That would be the ultimate stick kick in the ass to the committee.
Absolutely, if he's able to do that back to back. But here's a fun fact: I don't think there'll be any undefeated teams in ACC this year. I believe the gap in parity. I think it's close. I think some of these tier 2 teams may look like tier 1 teams, and there's a team in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm just saying, if all the stars align, I'm just saying.
I love it. You've been recently streaming, college football on YouTube. I've been catching the games. You're working with Ball State now.
Yes.
And I've been telling you that Caden Semenza is a dude. He's the number 1 this year. Can Ball State win the MAC conference behind Caden Semenza?
The answer is no. Matter of fact, better answer is hell no. And I'm sorry to the faithful in Muncie, but the answer is hell no. I believe what Toledo have in safeties, Max Hook and Emmanuel Neal Warren, and also Miami of Ohio, that team in Oxford, a guy that I interviewed last year, Matt Salopek. I think both of those teams will be back in Detroit for the MAC championship this upcoming season.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Tons of people seem to believe that Boise State is the favorite this season in Mountain West Conference. I'm not one of them, okay? But who do you believe can challenge the Broncos for the top spot this season?
You said you're not one of them. I got a feeling there's a team in University of Vegas, Nevada, that you have on your list. I think the top 4 teams are, top 5: Boise, Fresno State, UNLV, Air Force, and Wyoming. Fresno State has one of the tougher schedules, and the interesting thing, sorry about going over 10 words again, the interesting thing about the Mountain West is that even though Oregon State and Washington State aren't eligible to play in the Mountain West Championship, which I think they really should have fought for, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. All these schools have to play those schools. But with Fresno State, it's just something, I've always had a thing about this team. They've averaged 30 points per game over the last 6 seasons. The only team in the Mountain West that does so. Mikey Keene had a decent season last year with 24 touchdowns, 67 complete percentage. I think that can even go up. And then Malik Sherrod probably will be a 1,000-yard rusher this season. So give me Fresno State, but I'm worried because they have a tougher schedule than some of the other teams in the conference. Who is your team, Nino? Please tell me.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. I'm a big fan of Brennan Morin out in UNLV. I love Jaden Thomas as the running back. I think Ricky White outside is an absolute dog. Yeah, and people go, I lost Jaden Maivia. But they're getting a kid in Matthew Suko coming over from Holy Cross who may make that offense a little bit more spread, which gives them more options. But I got a funny feeling. And every time I look at the lineup, I look at the team, and I'm like, God, it's not really any studs out there. But I just got a feeling that he has a chip on his shoulder where he's going to try to pull this. I'm going to be the Cinderella team. I'm going to ruin a lot of these teams, chances out here. I think Sean Lewis is pissed off. Okay. And I think that the San Diego State Aztecs are going to have that fire. When they say, it all trickles down. His mantra, the way his demeanor he holds, he's a no-nonsense type of dude that got kind of shit on in the era of the prime, situation over there in Colorado.
And we talked about that program last night.
Right. When I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but when he was the OC, Shedeur Sanders' numbers in the pass game were phenomenal.
They were.
When they took him out and put in an offensive coordinator that is more of a run-heavy scheme guy, hence why they went to so many running backs in the portal this year, he didn't look as good. Things changed for Shedeur down the stretch. Obviously, he was trying to do a lot on his own, and the offensive line was what it was. But he got let go, left, however you want to say it, in a manner that I think was wrong. And I think what he's going to try to build in San Diego, I think it's going to be a firecracker of a program. I think that they're going to kind of be in games that people don't think that they're supposed to be in early. Now, I know A.J. Duffy's not this, 5-star prospect at the quarterback position, but I love Mekhi Shaw as a wide receiver on the outside. There are a few pieces up front that these guys have. I think this could be a problem team for teams overlooking them. And I really love Sean Lewis and his demeanor and how he coaches. So.
That's a great dark horse pick. Yeah, Sean Lewis was essentially the fall guy. You know how it works in your home. You're the fall guy. For CFB Nation, a lot of times, you're the fall guy just because you put the most work in. It is what it is. I do have to answer some emails. I don't feel like answering sometimes, but it's what comes with it. At my job, I'm 100% the fall guy. When we do something great, I'm never the reason why. It's my superiors. When we do something bad, it's 100% my fault. That's just the way it works. Sean Lewis was essentially a fall guy. I like that San Diego State pick.
Give me the top 4 teams in the Big Ten.
I'm about to piss some people off, and I think I might be pissing you off too.
I have a feeling this is why I gave you this question.
Give me Oregon. Give me Ohio State. Give me Michigan. Amongst all of this BS, give me Michigan and give me Iowa. Give me Iowa. You know, a lot of people are angry about my Iowa pick, but they're returning 79% of their production. I think they got the 44th strength of schedule. They're going to play lights out defensively. Tim Lester just has to be a little bit better than the nepotism was last year. He's got to be a little bit better, Nino. A little bit better than 22 touchdowns that they scored in total last year. Give me them. And 29% on third down, so he can be a little bit better than that. Give me Iowa again. Give me Iowa.
We spoke about this before.
We have 100%. And
70-something percent.
Yeah, it's a skew number. We know it's
60% is on defense.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
They may score more points than the offense this year. Okay, I'm sorry, Dino. I love you to death. Tell me, I'm just saying. Is Cade McNamara 100%? And if he is 100%, what version of this gentleman are we going to get? Who's catching the ball?
That's a damn good question. That's a damn good question.
Outside of a tight end, who's catching the ball?
They only have to be better than 22 touchdowns. 22 offensive touchdowns last year, Nino. And they still made the conference championship.
But we're bringing in bigger. We're bringing in more teams.
We're bringing in
and other teams in the conference got substantially better.
Yes. Who's in your top 4?
Ohio State.
I knew that one.
Oregon.
I know Oregon is in it for sure.
Michigan.
Okay. Who's your 4? He's about to do it. He's about to do it.
Matt Rule, Nebraska.
I knew you were going to do it. Hey, but if history shows 2, 3, and 4 for Matt Rule. So I like that pick.
If you follow progression, like you just said, year 1 is a wash.
Yeah.
He got his freaking guy, who, as much as you may not like, and I was a guy that was out on him off the rip because I thought he had commitment issues. Now I'm starting to worry if he has too much commitment issues because he's starting to look like Patrick Mahomes.
Okay? Yes.
But if that's the dude everybody wanted to look like Brady and play like Brady, if this is what he wants to do and he can pull it off because some of the throws he's doing, give me a little Patrick Mahomes-esque to it. Bro, you put that with Gabe Urban Jr., who's like 240 pounds of like just a Derrick Henry specimen running back, and all the intricate pieces that they got, all Will Pauling on the outside. This is a team that's built to knock you out, smack you in the face on defense, run the ball, and now they have a quarterback who could be prolific. With a coaching scheme, with Matt Rule in the second year, woo, give me Nebraska as a top 4 team.
I love that take, and guess what? I think it's important, is that 4th team. I know Penn State fans are going to be upset that it's not Penn State, but there are some teams with like schedules that are favorable, like Maryland team. Nobody's talking about Maryland. We're not sure exactly what they have, but I think they have something. Man, you spoke about Rutgers. They probably don't have enough offensively, but they have a favorable schedule. They avoid a lot of the top teams in the conference.
Great coach, great defense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The thing with Maryland is, are we going to get the ginger assassin, or is it going to be MJ Moore? So, that's the school looks like it's going to go right down to the end of fall camp.
And that's never good.
I never like that. Yeah. At this point, I would like to have a starter name.
Quarterback.
Knowing, all right, this is where we're going. He's the guy taking all the first team reps. We're not battling out down the stretch.
Like what Kenny Dillingham did, like what Shane Beamer did. They've already named their starters.
You want to play in the spring? Play in the spring. But when it comes to fall camp, this is like preseason to me.
Right.
Okay.
They need those reps.
Let's lock them in. Let them get them reps, and let's get the ball rolling. Last one. And I only put this in there because I didn't want to get hate.
Oh, Lord.
Out there. But outside of Shedeur Sanders, that part I put in there. Is Garrett Green the best quarterback in the Big 12?
He's certainly up there. I did a short yesterday. Well, it hasn't come out. I'm kind of spoiling it here, but anything for my guy Nino, where I believe that the Big 12 will be the most exciting conference this upcoming season. You look at the margin of victory over the last 5 years, more one-score games than any other conference from 2018 to 2023. I think the quarterback play is stupendous. We got my guy Cam Rising in Utah. We got Jalen Daniels if he can stay healthy. Of course, that's always the thing with him. We got Avery Johnson at Kansas State. We got Noah Fafita, my guy at Arizona. We got some guys that can truly play the position here.
We forgot about somebody.
Who'd I forget?
And I think a lot of people are forgetting about him, but he's been cleared as 100% healthy.
Oh, you talking
Donovan Smith is back, baby. And I will put Donovan Smith in the same box.
How you feel about the roster construction, though? That's my only issue.
Why? Because all the receivers is left?
Yeah.
Here's my thing about Matthew Gold. He got outplayed by Samuel Brown and Joseph Manjack while he was there. I love him. I think he's a good receiver, but when you get outplayed by two dudes below you, I got problems. Joseph Manjack is now there with 140 targets that are voided. My man's eating.
Great. Okay? Great take. Hey, I like what East Coast Grinder just said, too.
It's going to be a Pac-12. I'm winning wide open. They know. Pac-12, I think, was different because they knew it was the last.
Oh, they were
going out with a bang. They gave you, 4 of the top 25 teams last year to close it out. But I'm not saying Houston's going to go out there and win 11 games. I'm not saying Donovan Smith's going to throw for 5,000 yards. But I'm just saying now the kid's healthy.
Often forgotten. He's often forgotten.
He had progressed well in the last 2 seasons. He got hurt. He's back. He's going to be an integral piece in that offense. At the end of the year, he might be in the top 3 for quarterbacks in the Big 12. In the Big 12, I'm saying.
I like take. No. I know what you meant.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know everybody, because to me, it's like everybody automatically is annoying. No Fafita, which I like, right? And Cam Rising and Avery Johnson, the only 3 quarterbacks I really hear outside of Shador. What about Garrett Green? Hey, and if for some reason he puts it all together, Barry Morton could be a freaking dude this year.
For sure.
And if he doesn't put it together, Will Hammond could be on that ass real quick. So it's like there are other dudes in the Big 12 that can probably put up big numbers and be right there. Let's not just go with the easy layups, the guys that everybody's kind of just been talking about for the past 6 to 8 months. You know what I mean? All right. Recently, there's been a shit ton of them actually, watch lists that have come out.
Oh, of course. It's that time
we are big advocates of the ACC. We do a lot of coverage, and we get a lot of respect from them.
Yes.
So I want to talk about
ACC.
The 15 running backs that have been, placed on Doak Walker watch list. I got 3 guys that I wanted to kind of just touch on. I know one of these guys, you guys are going to say, Jesus Christ, you've been talking about this guy for 2 years now. Well, now it seems like now everybody else wants to talk about him, but we'll get there in a minute. Kai Robichaud, Boston College, senior. He's been placed on the watch list. Shout out to my guy Kai. I'm out there covering him. Boston College. Jaden Ott, Cal. Phil Moffitt, Clemson. Jacquez Moore, Duke. Jamal Haynes, Georgia Tech. Donald Chaney, Louisville. Omari Hampton, North Carolina. Damian Martinez, Miami. Jordan Watson, NC State. Ronnie Hampton Jr., Pitt. Jalen Knightington, SMU. Ryan Butler, Stanford. LaQuint Allen, Syracuse. Basil Tootin, Virginia Tech. BC missed out on him. I knew he was going to be a dude.
Yes.
And Damani Claiborne, Wake Forest. Out of this list from the ACC guys, who are we'll go back and forth. 3 guys that you like. I'll let you shoot from the hip first.
All right, so 3 guys that I like. One guy that I like a lot is Jamal Haynes from Georgia Tech. Something's interesting, and it happens every year at Senior Bowl, and you know where I'm about to head here, where guys have these listed heights, and bro is listed as 5'9". Nino, you and I are guys of shorter stature. Bro's not 5'9". He's not 5'9" at all, but that's not a knock at all because I believe it's to his advantage because I believe he may be hard to see behind that offensive line, but he eclipsed 1,000 yards last year, 7 touchdowns, averaged 6 yards a carry, and he was a wide receiver turned running back. I believe he left some meat on the bone, especially being a pass catcher, because he only caught like 20 balls last year. It can be upped a little bit, and if Haynes can have the type of development, he got a tough schedule. That's the only thing about Georgia Tech. That schedule is murderous. But if he have any type of development, and that read option is dangerous that Georgia Tech run, that back end defensive end has to stay honest. So Jamal Haynes is certainly a guy I like. Of course. Come on now. Who doesn't like Omari and Hampton? We don't even need to talk about him. And then I've been big on Syracuse all offseason. There's no surprise that I'm going to say LaQuint Allen. 100%. He eclipsed 1,000 yards last season. Fran Brown, his introductory press conference, one of my favorite introductory press conferences of all time. I got a 5-yard run left in me, and that's probably the coach I would go get that 5 yards for. Of course, I got Kyle McCord, via the portal. So I think they're both well. Who are some of your guys?
I love that you mentioned Haynes for the simple fact that there's a very good chance that he could be this year's Tyron Tracy because it's so similar. Two dudes that were so adamant that they didn't want to give up on being a wide receiver, but had so much shake and bake and compactness to them that the game fit to being a running back, right? Like
100%.
They were shifty in us. They had that explosion coming out of the hole, or was it off the line of scrimmage? Kind of shorter guys. I mean, Tracy was a little bit bigger, a little wider to him, but similar stature, similar way that they play the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Haynes had close to 45 receptions this year in that offense. Him and Singleton will probably be the focal points of that offense behind Tane King, running the ship. You said everybody loves Amari Hampton. It seems though, not everybody's talking about Amari Hampton.
That's a great point.
Because why? There's not that superstar guy at the quarterback no more, position. Bringing in the casual freaking people, right? They're all here at North Carolina because Drake May was a top 5 quarterback and he was going to go in the first round. The guy was tops in the nation. Ran for 1,500 yards, okay? Almost 1,100 of those yards came after contact. This dude is built like a brick shithouse. When you All-American photo, you think that he's a junior in college. Dude was a senior in high school, okay? And now last year was his coming out party. I think this is his year where I'm going to put my foot on your freaking neck. And I'm coming for the top spot in the game. Everybody wants to talk about Martinez, right? Everybody wants to talk about maybe the return of Rocket Raheem and Nicholas Singleton and all that shit. Bro, I'm going to go with the guy who did it and now is returning the guys up front in front of him where he's going to probably get fed more. There's probably more carries for him because I don't know if Max Johnson is going to be anywhere in the realm of Drake May, right?
Right.
I don't know if J.J. Jones is going to be able to come out of his shell and be the next Tez Walker for UNC. So they are kind of taking a step back in the other program, but we're not taking a step back in on that offense. It's Amari Hampton. Now, if you're going to feed this kid, my dad stacked boxes. Homie was still crushing them down the stretch. When Drake May fell off, Omari and Hampton carried the Tar Heels. Like I said, they were stacking the box, and my man was still churning out the yards. I think there's a very, very good chance that Omari Hampton is in that 1-2 spot when we're talking about the Doak Walker at the end of the year. And people are like, I kind of didn't really think he was going to be there with them. Mac Brown ain't stupid. Been a coach in college football for decades, okay? And that's the reason. He knows
what to do. Second stint with North Carolina.
Going ride that horse right to the finish line. Amari Hampton is the one for me right off the rip on this list. Kai Robichaud. It's interesting. And then people you want to be a homer. No, I don't want to be a homer. Okay. My man was averaging 5 yards per pop before the injury last year. Okay. Now they bring in Trajan as a guy to kind of split off. The thing was last year, it was Kai Robichaud's a banger, Alex Broom's a banger. Okay, there was no switching it up.
There was no thunder and lightning.
They have Trayshawn now. So now they got a kind of that lightning shiftier guy, right? And now they have him fully healthy. He looks enormous and chiseled out of granite. And when you talk about him, and he talks to the media and everything he says, the vibe he's given, he's the leader. Him and Tommy are the leader on this offense, and the vibe that he's given, he said it's a mission. The vibe is just different. Everybody, and his smile on this dude's face. And when you see, they show videos of Cam Arnold coming out the gauntlet and chasing dudes, look like he's going to eat this dudes for breakfast. When they show freaking Kai Robichaud coming out the hole, my man looks like he is a man possessed, where he just going to run your ass over. It don't matter how big you are, what linebacker you are, you're SEC, ACC, AAC, MWC, NWA, NWO. He don't give a shit. My man is ready to run everybody the hell over. He had 700 yards and almost 500 that was yards after contact. Okay, I'm talking about 3.01 yards after contact per attempt. I mean, but just running into you is going to be getting a first down on 3 carries. He's going to be right there on the line. This kid is going to show out, and I think he's going to be a major piece as to why BC is in games and has a better record than most people expect at the end of the year and first year under Bill O'Brien.
I love that take, bro.
Okay, everybody, and I don't mean no disrespect to the community. You don't need to get off my fucking dick when it comes to Jaden Ott. When all you motherfuckers forgot about this dude, and everybody didn't want to talk about him. I want to talk about all the shiny new toys last year, and Damian Martinez, and Ollie Gordon, and Amari Hampton, when they all came out, didn't give it. Who kept clucking along like a chicken? My man, Jaden Ott. He just continues.
You were talking about him 2 years ago.
He
2 years ago.
Continues to produce, and people just continue to push it aside, right? He had almost 1,000 yards in 22. My man had 1,300 yards last year, 800 yards after contact. He's a chain mover. Whoever the quarterback may be, whether it's Chandler Rogers or it's Fernando Mendoza, I really don't think it matters, right? Because I think both
we
of those
may
guys
end up saying both throughout the duration of the season, honestly.
But this kid has that, and I've been saying it for a while, that Brain Allen style run to him. He's the upright runner. People kind of knock that. They don't really like it. Well, it doesn't seem to affect him, right? He can run inside. He can run outside. And whether that's style, he can get small when necessary. And then boom, boom. His main running style is upright. But he's like a gazelle. He just takes off downfield. Good luck catching him. Most of the time, you're looking at OTT in the back of his jersey saying hip hop array and OPT. So it's like my guy has been grooving, and now it's his time. Right? Whether he comes out or not, whether this is the year he enters the draft or not, this is the year where everybody seems to now want to anoint him as the top guy in the game. He had been one of these dudes. Now just everybody else is starting to see it.
It's kind of catching. It's kind of catching. He's such a likable dude too, man. Seeing him at ACC Media Days, it's and this happens every time we go out, whether it's the Senior Bowl, ACC Media Days, or wherever we at games. You get to meet these players, kind of get to know them a little bit. Jaden Ott is one of those guys you're just rooting for.
He's that quiet guy, right? And just keeps on grinding, right? You always got to watch out for the quiet ones.
You do.
It's the quiet ones that surprise you. And you're like, oh, shit, I didn't know he had that in him. Right? You know what I mean? So that's my guy. Basil Tootin is my dark horse. I really love this kid. I love what Virginia Tech is doing out there. And Kyron Jones, I've been banging a drum on Kyron Jones for a year and a half now. But Tootin's game, he just a bruiser who can make that one little slash move and go out there and get chunk yards. He's got some decent hands on him. I really want him at BC. You showed out why 1,000 yards later.
Right.
Andy, I think he had 300-400 yards in the air over there. Like, he was a guy for them. I think they're going to feature him a lot more again this year. I think Virginia Tech is on the come up. So that's my dark horse.
I love it.
Right, we're going to get a little animated here.
Let's do it.
I've been a little animated, thought, but Michigan faces some more violations. And I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about it, and I get it. But the more I want to just sweep it away and stop freaking talking about it, the more I think we've seen teams get run through the ringer, right? And I don't think they should lose the national championship or anything like that.
Right.
But at this point, is Michigan kind of just like ding-dong ditching the committee and then standing in the sidewalk, pointing at them and laughing? I mean, now Sharon Moore has been, allegedly accused of deleting 52 text messages with Connor Stallions or whatever the investigation about,
right.
stealing signs. This would be his second offense. Now he'd be a repeat offender because in 21 he had recruitment violations where he got suspended for one game. Okay. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? Because the guy he was crying, my coach, that's my coach, that's my coach, Trev Owen style, right? He got suspended twice last year, both 3 games, once for sign stealing, one again from recruiting, aka Burgergate. Connor Stallions, this is what I don't get. They confirmed that this dude was in disguise at Central Michigan. That was him on the sideline, on another school sideline. This dude told the committee, whatever, in 30 minutes of operation or cooperate, whatever they were talking, he just pretty much didn't want to cooperate. And they said, well, he wouldn't cooperate. So he just got to leave? Now this dude says, hey, thanks for everything, dog. I'm out. Yo, Netflix, what's Gooch? Let's make he got a Netflix series coming out, but now this guy is making money at the expense of the committee. Like, I just laugh. They think they won. They ain't won a damn thing. Now, to make matters worse, spill a little salt in the wound. We all talk bad about Georgia, right? And you know me and you
right,
and a few of us have been talking about the culture there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not trying to fire up my guy Andy because he does a great job with Welcome to the Big House, and he's a huge Michigan fan.
Love that show.
But at what point are we going to start asking if there's a culture problem with the coaching staff at Michigan? Because it's Stallions, right? Two other gentlemen were involved in that got suspended as well. Denard Robinson got a DUI and got dismissed from the team during spring. It's 40-3, right? Is their record over the past 3 seasons, a national championship with 10+ violations spread over through 7 to 8 staff members. KT, at what point do we start putting the spotlight on Michigan's coaching staff the same way we're putting it on Georgia and the culture over there? They're getting caught and getting away with it.
They deserve the same amount of criticism that Georgia is getting. But is that the cost of doing business in this era of college football? I'm going to step away for a second. All that Charlie Baker and the NCAA ever wanted was to respect the idea of amateurism and that these players are student athletes, students first, of course. And when that idea went down, when that idea went down the drain, so did the NCAA. I don't think they care about anything. Will we ever see harsh punishments anymore, Nino? This is the era of self-imposed sanctions where we slap ourselves on the wrist like Tennessee did with the Jeremy Pruitt situation. Be thankful, and all of these teams need to be thankful, that former NCAA enforcement investigator, the great David Burst, isn't still handing out penalties, because some of these schools would have got severe penalties like SMU did circa 1987.
Thank you.
I think the NCAA said, oh, this is what y'all want? Oh, y'all want these players to get paid? Oh, y'all also want them to get some of the share of revenue? Oh, they're not students? We're not giving them a free education? That's exactly what they did, Nino. Okay. Oh, they cheating? Burger King? They sipping their water and minding their business, bro.
But here's my problem. I love what you said, and I think you checked a few boxes. But Alabama, handles things differently, right?
For the most part, they've had players
but they don't run from it. Kirby hasn't spoke on this shit in a minute.
Well, okay? I think that's the difference in leadership. With Nick Saban is a man's man.
Accountability,
right?
Maybe, right.
Right.
And I'll fall on a sword because that's my job.
You called it, and everybody would have called you crazy in January 2023 when you did the episode of No Country for Old Men, and you were saying that the game is going to change and we're going to see a lot of these coaches leave the sport because they don't want to be a part of this. You called it.
Yeah, look what's happening now. Now they're all rambling.
That's why. Yeah, I'm gonna go take this analyst job at ESPN. I'm gonna travel every Saturday and get to talk what I know about the game, and I don't got to worry about holding these high-paid amateurs. I got to worry about holding them accountable anymore.
All you got to worry about holding his media credentials.
Yeah, that's
all you got to worry about holding now, right?
That's it. We are coming to your city.
I think it's absolutely crazy that there wasn't like a harder sanction towards them, especially at the way that everything's getting handled. You know what I mean? Like, and then they interview Harbaugh and the NFL. Like, why, bro? It's already passed. He scooted. We know why he scooted. He's Pete Carroll 2.0. My man scoop booted. Knew that there was going to be this may not be the end down the pipeline. They may uncover more because I don't understand how you can say that he was unequivocally the guy on the field. Yeah, we haven't figured out how he got there, who allowed him to get there, how he got a uniform. Like,
I think some of these universities, and I got to be careful with the words I choose because we're credentialed members of the media, but some of these universities gotta tighten up. How was he able to be that close on the sidelines? Because typically what you see when you go to a game and you're on the field, there's a zone that you're not supposed to go in unless it's a kickoff and you're walking way behind the bench and it's typically 20 to goal line. That's the only area you're allowed to be in. He looked like he was literally one of the coaches. Like, where's the accountability?
He had a whole uniform on.
Where's the accountability for CMU? Like, I mean, hey, I'm from the hood, bro. On Leverett, a random car just can't pull down the street. No, hey, I know this car didn't pull down the street 2 times. Everybody coming outside, like, nah, you can't do that, bro. So where's the accountability from CMU? Like, bro, y'all got Buddy just chilling here. Y'all don't even know who he is. How does that even work?
He's checking clipboards, right?
Bro don't even got the Sherlock Holmes though. Like, he don't even got the.
But like at one point, be like, yo, who's this guy?
Right.
Who's the new guy? Week 9. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not week 1 or week mid-season. Oh, they hired a new guy, I guess. Didn't see him all week. Just happened to show up on game day. Like, some of this shit don't even make sense.
It doesn't. Like, I wonder how much access he truly had. Because we only seen it in pictures. Like, was he just chilling in the locker rooms? Like,
yeah, was he there?
He had a copy. He had a copy of the gameplay.
Did he get a game book playbook?
Right,
Like he had a headset and shit. Was he in the helmet?
Right.
Like,
I mean,
if
if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Right. That's what some people say.
You ain't cheating, right? So, I love Michigan fans. I think you guys are some of the most passionate people out there.
Absolutely.
I just think the coaching staff is
It's
out of their taking minds. That
Mm.
shit in that room is weird. Now the players,
100%.
totally different ballgame.
Right.
That's not them.
Mhm.
All right. Next topic I want to talk about before we close out the show.
Mhm.
I kind of got on it on Monday. We talked about Auburn and how I feel there.
Right.
Can Auburn play spoiler in the SEC? The more I thought about it, they're lined up. I think that they could be the stone on everybody's side. Hugh Freeze has been nothing close to cold in the recruiting game over in the portal. My man, red hot.
Mm-hmm.
Has heavy hitting Hugh done enough this season to possibly cause chaos in the SEC for a handful of teams? Talked about that chunk schedule. Versus OU, at Georgia, at Mizzou, at Kentucky. If they win games they're not supposed to, can they be that thorn in the side? Before I get your answer, I just want to say nobody's really talking about the wide receiver. All you hear about is the defense, what Hugh's done in the recruiting, and Peyton Thorne, can he take the next step, right? But, dude, they cooked. Cam Coleman is obviously a guy, top 3 in the class. It is what it is, right? But Robert Lewis seems to be a guy, and I'm hearing about both in spring and in fall camp, that has been cooking. And I don't know if people forgot, but Lambert Smith is there. And he is, what I'm reading, what I'm seeing from reporters, from film, he's leading this room right now. Not to mention Rivaldo Fairweather at the tight end position. And Perry Thompson is there. And he is a big human being. Why is nobody talking about this wide receiver room? Why is nobody talking about the fact that Auburn could play spoiler this year? All I hear about is Hugh and the recruiting. I think there's a chance these guys could just play spoiler, run into teams that think that they got it in the bag, and all of a sudden they're gasping for air down the gauntlet.
I love it. So Hugh Freeze, as you mentioned earlier, has done nothing but build a program during this time with War Eagle. 10th best recruiting class this past recruiting cycle, respectable SP plus ranking of 31. Peyton Thorne has to be more comfortable with winning football. And sometimes winning football, lack of a better words, is boring football. You already mentioned a wide receiver core. And Keandre Lambert-Smith, Robert Lewis, and stud freshman Cam Coleman. Also got Jarquez Hunter behind him. You mentioned the tight end already in Rivaldo Fairweather. You can't win the game on every play. And a lot of times, a lot of quarterbacks try to do that. You need to make sure that possessions end on the kick this season, whether it's by a PAT, field goal, or a punt. You also mentioned coordinator Dirk Nix, a respected guy, did a phenomenal job with Ole Miss as halfback coach and a wide receivers coach. I think the main thing offensively for the Tigers is discipline. I know you're going to talk about defense a little bit later. You want me to hold up before I start talking defense?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Dirk Nix, okay? And that was kind of the thing. Cadillac Country lasted for 1 year under Hugh.
It did.
And when he came in, he said he wanted to keep Cadillac. We don't know what went wrong in that thing. But
I'm sure you had maybe divided locker room isn't the right term, but I'm sure you had players who were more comfortable with Cadillac than you. Probably not by and large, but probably just a few for what he had done after Brian Harsin was no longer.
He was on, on borrowed time pretty much.
Right, right, for sure.
So my question is, with the additions of the new OC and the new DC and DJ Durkin, who takes over for Ron Roberts, comes with a lot of experience, right? Can DJ Durkin get the best out of Eugene Asante in this Tigers front seven? And can Derek Nix make Peyton Thorne accept if they put in the right pieces around him in this puzzle and just complete the 100-piece puzzle this season for the Auburn Tigers?
I think he can. When we saw Hugh Freeze talk about Peyton Thorne last year, he was like, he's a guy that you just can't say no to. He was like, he'll be in his office every time he turn around. Peyton Thorne is there asking him about something that had happened in practice. Like, he's a guy that just loved the game. It's just, like I said earlier, will he accept boring football? There's quarterbacks in the NFL, and I'm a Bills fan, and one of them is Josh Allen that sometimes isn't comfortable with boring football, and that's why we lose football games, because he's not comfortable with boring football. So Derek Nix, if there is a guy that could probably get the best out of Peyton Thorne, it's probably him. I think they can be play spoiler this year? Yes. But I think the floor and the ceiling of the amount of games they can win this year is weird. It's one of those things where they could
win 5 and possibly win 9.
Barely, be bowl eligible, or you looking at the end of the season like, yo,
top 25 team.
Can this team be, outside looking in on the college football playoff?
Yeah. Because if to get that momentum, they have to beat big name teams, top ranked teams.
They're gonna have to.
And if they do that, and then that game at the end of the year will always have weight, no matter what. It just always does. But
I mean, if you look at a couple of their meetings out of the last few seasons, they're not afraid of them. There have been close matchups, games that they should have won.
That's the thing with Peyton Thorne is, like you said, boring football. You don't need to just go for the home run shot. But if you work to play action, if you work to short and intermediate game, and you get these safeties and these linebackers and these Mike backs to stay home,
right?
And then you hit them with a play action. And now Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson, now they're downfield making these 40, 50-yard chunk plays. Now we're bringing an aspect to Auburn football that they haven't had in a while, right? I don't need it to be Cam Newton, right? I need to do to just be able to go in there, be somewhere in the 60% completion range, right? Throw for somewhere between 22 and 2,500 yards. Maybe get yourself 20 touchdowns, right? Couple, if you don't get a lot of yards on the ground, but you're keeping plays extended, you're not taking sacks, I'm cool. The pieces around him, I think, are in play.
I agree.
They have 2 great linebackers, I believe. I think UJ Asante is an absolute
the DMV
stud.
Connection, baby.
You know what I mean? And I think that the
upgrade, Jalen McLeod isn't a slouch either.
Right. And then the upgrade in the coaching staff now, and I hate to say it, but now it's Hughes guys. He didn't really clean house when he came in.
Right. No.
He just came in, kept everything kind of what it was. See what we got here. I don't want to really ruffle too many feathers yet.
Right.
It didn't work out really that well first year. He caught a lot of flack for it. Well, now he went and got his guys, right? Recruited his dudes, hit the portal for his guy, got his coaching staff. I think Auburn's going to be all right. If they flip Deuce Knight as well, which is the rumor going on right now, they're setting themselves for the immediate future. Watch out. Like, I think the expectations and the temperature in Auburn is starting to climb.
I love it.
It's been a lovely, lovely episode of CFBPrime.
This was fun, bro.
Me and the governor back again, talking some, just some hot topics in college football that just kind of burning my ass that I wanted to talk about. I appreciate you, my man. Hey, plug your show that you've been doing. That people may not know about, but I love the College Football Showdown. Talk about it.
Oh, yeah, College Football Showdown. We have just been quietly grinding. Just finished episode 60. Every show has been done during the off season with my guy Jalen, and it was exclusively just on podcasts. We just recently started going live with it over on the CFB Nation. I truly enjoy the show. I enjoy my guy Jalen. Jalen keeps me young, man. he tests me sometimes because he's an elite troll.
I was gonna say he has troll level on 100.
Yeah, he does.
And he loves to get under the skin. Sometimes I watch it and I'm like, oh.
So yeah, we gotta get you on the show. We definitely gotta get you on the show, bro. So yeah, it's been fun. Episode 60, like I said, all 60 episodes during the off season. So we're ready for the season. We're about to be in high gear. We may even go to 3 episodes a week during the season. Yeah.
Giving the high demand, giving the they want. We appreciate everybody. College football is right down the pipeline. Week 0 is almost here. But you're gonna be getting more and more and more content from us because we're all geared up, fired, and ready to go. Until next time, blow the damn whistle.